Good morning. It is Kirsten Liebelt. It's Monday morning. How are you doing? How are you doing? It's so good to see you guys. Happy Monday. I hope you had a really good weekend. Listen, if you're on the replay, let me know on the replay. I would love to know where you're coming in from. If you find this content about insulin resistance helpful, please share it out. Share it to people so that we can get more people understanding. And like if you're on YouTube, subscribe and we'll keep chatting about insulin resistance. So every morning, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, we come here collectively and chat about like being our own advocate and dealing with insulin resistance. I was raised by a type 2 dad who was Italian, insulin dependent, and he died at 63. And I'm closing in on that age. I'll be 60 next month. And so he took like this route of medication and I took this route of supplementation. And I am the only one in my family that has avoided type 2 diabetes. I don't mean in my larger Italian family that would not be appropriate for me to speak on everybody's health. But for sure, when it comes to like my immediate family. So it's really interesting to me because I think that we just assume that things are genetic. And when we find out that they're not, this leaves us a plethora, a buffet of conversation to be had because what the heck? Why, what are we not being told, etc. So come on in from the balcony, you guys. That would be amazing. All right. So today what I wanted to do was I wanted to actually talk about what body shape has a higher risk of metabolic disorder. Do you know which it is? Do you know what body shape it is? It's super interesting when I started to like study that just a little bit. And anytime that I do reels on it, good morning, Magda. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good morning, Carol. Oh my goodness. Do you have your cup of coffee, your cup of cocoa? I love it. Everybody's jumping on. Very, very good. I love this so much. When I started doing reels on this, people were like, oh my gosh, this now like fills in some blanks, like all of a sudden I understand a little better. Anyway, but did you know that by understanding your body shape, you can actually take targeted steps to address your insulin resistance and prevent metabolic syndrome and improve overall health? The reason why I laugh at that is because, like, you guys, everything is connected to insulin resistance. Did you know that you have to like pay attention to like everything? It's like, how can this possibly be? It's crazy. Okay, but I did actually want to take Magda. Oh, Carol, drinking coffee. What do you put in your coffee, Carol? I would love to know. Magda, pear or round? It's a good guess, Magda. Good morning. You haven't tapped in for so long. You're glad you found me again. Thank you. I'm so glad. Where are you from? Tell me where you're from and what is your first name? I would love to know. And make sure you follow me and maybe that's how you can like catch me. Because you're right. This is what I tell TikTok all the time. So TikTok, there's like this algorithm universe. It's crazy pants, right? Like you can lose somebody for like a year and be like, I wonder what happened to that person. And they're just like off in la la land. They're off in algorithm land. That's just the way that it is. Carol says she's thinking apple shape. Meg to pair around. Yep. Perfect. New Mexico. Your name is Annette. So nice to meet you, Annette. I'm so glad that you came back. I do actually think about that a lot. I think about how people who have been connected to me before, I think about them coming back. And just because I know that when you find somebody that resonates with you and they kind of like just bleep off into the universe, it's like crazy. And so I think about that all the time. So thanks for thinking that. Cinnamon. And okay, that's what you're putting in your coffee. Very interesting, Carol. Cinnamon, MCT powder, and nut pods creamer. Very nice. Very, very nice. I like it a lot. Okay, let's dive in. So these are the different shapes. There's an apple shape. There's a pear shape. There's an inverted triangle shape, a rectangle shape, and an hourglass shape. Now we'll go through all of them, but I will give you the spoiler alert, okay? The highest risk is the apple shape. It is the apple shape. The lowest risk is the pear shape. Isn't that interesting? But let's just go through these for just a second and the characteristics so you can determine which one you are. See which one you are, as I'll quickly like just give you the 5, and then you can decide. I mean, I remember even like trying to figure out my body shape for like trying on clothes. Like it can be so frustrating when you don't know how to dress yourself and you're almost 60 years old. I'm like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure it out. Okay. Hourglass shape characteristics. Balanced distribution of fat in the upper and the lower body with a defined waistline. Rectangle shape. Fat is distributed more evenly across the body with little waist definition. So your waist is not very well defined, okay? Inverted triangle shape. Broader shoulders, narrow hips, and weight gain tends to accumulate in the upper body. The pear shape. Fat accumulates in the hips, the thighs, and the butt. Apple shape. Fat accumulates primarily in the abdomen and the upper body. All right. So let's find out why one is very low risk and one is not. So when it comes to hourglass shape, this is the risk of the hourglass shape. While this shape is often seen as ideal, it doesn't exclude someone from insulin resistance risks. Weight gain in the midsection over time can shift this shape toward apple-like characteristics. So you might be hourglass and then you might lean into the apple. Why it matters? Because hormone imbalances, stress, and poor diet can trigger visceral fat accumulation even in an hourglass body. Dun, dun, dun. I'm sorry. It's Monday. Did you have a good weekend? I hope you had such a good weekend, you guys. I had such a good weekend. Apple, you are right. Lisa, that's you. Yep. Oh, you need to lower your A1C? Well, then you're in the right place. You're in the right place. And at any time, you can leave the live and you can go and see where my, where to message me. Because you can message me and tell me that you want it, whatever, you need help. You don't have to do that right now. But I'm just saying at any point, because in Instagram and TikTok, you have to actually leave the live to go message me. Facebook, you don't. But also too, at the top of Instagram, you'll see a pink highlight bubble that talks to you about the trio. I'll talk about those later. Those are 3 supplements, and you'll see people where they're all the testimonies, people's A1C coming down. Good morning, Terry. Good to see you. Okay, the rectangle shape. While this body shape may appear leaner, it can still harbor hidden visceral fat, especially if lifestyle habits are poor. Why it matters. Individuals with this body shape can experience thin outside, fat inside. OMG. TOFI. Have you ever heard of that? Meaning they look thin, but they have high visceral fat and insulin resistance. So that's the rectangle shape that is straight or lean. And it says that the fat is distributed more evenly across the body with little waist definition. Just, okay? I'm definitely not that. Inverted triangle shape. Broader shoulders, narrow hips, and weight gain tends to accumulate in the upper body. So the risk is actually similar to the apple shape in that weight gain in the upper body, especially around the chest and the abdomen, increases risk of visceral fat accumulation. Okay? And then why does it matter? Because focus on reducing inflammation and insulin resistance early, as upper body fat is often an indicator of poor metabolic health. That's fascinating. Okay, and now the pear shape. These are the last 2, pear and apple. Pear, lower compared to apple shape, since subcutaneous fat is less harmful than metabolically. It's less harmful metabolically. So if you have fat, like let's say in your hips and in your thighs and in your butt, that is subcutaneous fat. So that's just like the fat that you can squeeze. We talk about that all the time. That's not as metabolically active, releasing inflammation and releasing like hormonal disruption, as if it's inside, if it's that visceral fat that's around your organs. That's the dangerous fat that we talk about, right? So the subcutaneous fat in your hips, your butts, and your thighs, not as fun maybe to like dress yourself to like go and get whatever you need at the store. And, you're like trying to find the perfect jeans. Maybe you're like, why is this so frustrating to find, that's frustrating, but it's actually not metabolically active like the visceral fat is that you can't see. So you're actually in better shape for insulin resistance. However, so it's a lower risk. However, subcutaneous fat is stored under the skin, which doesn't disrupt insulin sensitivity as aggressively as visceral fat. That's why it matters. So a pear shape, you're maybe a little bit better off. Then, the apple shape. Here we go, you guys. High visceral fat. So if you are like a barrel around your belly, increased inflammation and insulin resistance is what's coming from high visceral fat. So everybody has the opportunity. Some people just have a little bit more opportunity than others. So think about this with both men and women. Obviously, I know. So the group is called Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And so a lot of my clients are women, not all, though. I do have some men that are that have chosen to use my program and thought process for their own insulin resistance. And how men, they get that big barrel belly, right? And it's hard. We call it a beer belly. Ha, ha, ha. Beer belly. Ha, ha, ha. We think that's so funny or whatever. But that's how I was raised, where my Italian family, the men had these huge bellies because there's so much type 2 in our family. So they had these huge bellies, and they were, they would wear their pants below their bellies, and then they would joke about how they had a 32-inch waist. Not so funny, but anyway, but that was such a sign, right? And so it can be with women too, where you have this barrel belly. So it's a very high visceral fat underneath that you can't see is the risk. Increased inflammation and insulin resistance. And this is why it matters. So visceral fat surrounds the organs, and it's releasing harmful chemicals and hormones that disrupt insulin sensitivity and increase the risk for type 2, heart disease, and metabolic syndrome. Type 2, heart disease, and metabolic syndrome. So if you are an apple shape and you are trying to compare yourself to somebody who is a pear shape in how fast your journey is going or slow, you're frustrated because it's slow, that is like a factor. You have to take these things into consideration, because there's no way that we can all open ourselves up and expose how much visceral fat we have going on. And that visceral fat that's around your organs, maybe you've already been told that you have fatty liver. Maybe you already know that your visceral fat is high because you had some sort of a test or whatever. But it is disrupting your insulin sensitivity. So it's kind of making it a little harder. And you just have to know that. And that's why I always talk to you guys about, listen, give yourself permission. You're an apple. Yep. Give yourself permission for a journey. You have to, if you do not rightly see your circumstances and you can continue to compare yourself to everybody else, you just live in frustration land instead of going, listen, the next year is going to pass anyway. I'm going to wake up one morning and I'm going to go, wow, it is December 2025. How did that happen? Just like you go, oh my gosh, where did the time go? That grandchild is growing up so fast, or I can't believe we've lived in this house for this many years, or has it really been that long since so-and-so died? We do this all the time. It passes like this. So why not just go, listen, if the time is going to pass anyway, I'm just going to allow myself like a 12-month journey. Let's start there. Let's not try a 2-week journey. Let's try a 12-month journey. Where can we go in 12 months? And if you're on TikTok, there are people on TikTok that are very much sharing like their carnivore journey over the last 12 months. They're sharing long haul changes in their life. That's very common on TikTok, where people are showing long journeys of their health or of their sobriety or whatever it is. And it's very beneficial, I think, to a lot of people, because we can stop having this instant mentality. We just want microwave life, microwave health, microwave function, microwave turning around of insulin resistance. That's ridiculous. But I will say that even though you're able to get your A1C in check and things like that, you know what? If your fat doesn't come off as fast, again, that's just another piece of your journey. So I have people that, when I talk about the trio, which are the 3 supplements that help insulin sensitivity, when you go and you look at the testimonies that are at the top of my Instagram page, and I put that up there for you guys because you guys can jump over if you go to my profile. Because on the top of IG, there's a pink highlight bubble, and it has testimony after testimony after testimony after testimony of these women, mostly women, not all, mostly women they're bringing their sugars down. They're bringing their A1C down. They're losing weight. They weren't able to budge 1 pound. They're getting off of meds, all of these things. And try not to focus on how fast it happened for them, because I will tell you that a lot of them are very fast. But there are some that are like, in the last year, I lost 18 pounds. Well, we might think we want to lose 18 pounds in the next 2 months or the next month, because that's what we want inside of our heart. But wouldn't you be happy if at the end of 2025, you had lost 18, 20 pounds? I mean, I'm just saying, this is why that conversation is the same all the time. When your insulin and your sugars are high, you can't lose weight and you're on a hamster wheel. It literally is science. When people say follow the science, this is real science. I'm just telling you. If you're constantly spiking your sugars and calling on insulin, and your insulin is high, you can't burn fat. If your insulin is high, you can't burn fat. So then we wonder why we're not losing, we say weight, but what we really mean is we want to burn fat. That's what we really mean, because you really don't want to lose muscle and water and just impacted waste and then think that you lost a bunch of weight. I mean, it feels good, but it's not. You're really wanting to lose fat, right? Isn't that the truth? Because then it changes your body composition. When you can lose fat off of the areas that are the most frustrating when you go to try on jeans or clothes in general, that's like #goals, right? Like, we want that because we want to feel better, right? But you have to get into fat burning mode. And if your insulin is high all the time, I'm telling you, that's why I know that anybody, hi, Claudette, good to see you. We're talking about body shapes today, Claudette, and which one is the highest metabolic syndrome risk. When I talk about the trio, I know that I can help people. So these are 3 supplements that have 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. And this is what we talk about mainly. This is like a core. So this is the good option. Then we have a better option. Then we have a best option. But this is a great place to start. And I know that every single person who can bring down their insulin, you have a chance to lose some fat. Like, let's go. And then if your liver is tired and toxic, you can't lose fat because it's your fat metabolizing organ. So, oh my gosh, let's deal with your liver. Come on, let's go. Like, I know these things. You may not know these things yet, but I do. And that's why when somebody is like, I've tried, I've been on meds, I've been on, whatever, all sorts of different things, but you haven't quite figured out how to get your insulin down yet so that you can actually burn fat. That's why you'll see so many testimonies in that highlight bubble of people saying, I've been keto. I've done all of these things. I've done this for 3 years and I can't seem to budge 1 pound, whatever. And then they start the trio and all of a sudden they can start losing. That's just the reality of how high their insulin was, right? So that's what we're doing. You are an apple. Claudette, are you an apple? Okay, well, then I won't repeat. I'm just kidding. So apple is the highest risk because fat accumulates primarily in the abdomen and the upper body. It has a high visceral fat, increased inflammation and insulin resistance. But it's because the visceral fat surrounds the organs, releasing harmful chemicals and hormones that disrupt insulin sensitivity and increase the risk for heart disease, type 2, and metabolic syndrome. But I say all of that just to say that that's why don't be so frustrated with yourself. Don't be so unkind to yourself. Don't require your body If you know that you're in apple shape and you know that that's the highest risk of visceral fat that's underneath everything, and so therefore you know that that's the stubborn, harder to shift. If you know this, then don't be so hard on yourself, requiring your body to do something that it's just going to take a minute for. Okay. I love the testimonies. I will do that, working bee. I will do that. She wants me to share the trio. I'll do that here in just a second. I love the testimonies. Like when Terry jumps on and she says it's taken me 8 months, but with the trio, and she's changed out some ingredients, like she's grain-free and sugar-free, and she's lost 40 pounds and she's 62. I love that. 8 months. Or somebody texts me and says, I, over the last year, have lost, what did she lose? What did Jeannie lose? She had just gotten out of her doctor's appointment, and she texted me. And she said that I think she had lost, I never want to over exaggerate. I always want to under exaggerate. Maybe it was like 26 pounds or something in the last year since her last physical. And I love those journeys because, you guys, if you can give yourself permission for that, you will be so, your future self will look back and be so happy that your current self is doing the things that it's doing. So the trio, these are, I know, isn't that wonderful? I know. So she says, happy for Jeannie. Yes. It's more accurate to use a tape measure than scale weight. It is, Linda. That's why I sent out tape measures in September, because I had to throw away my scale. But okay, so let's just talk about the trio for a second so you can get an idea. I started this a little over 10 years ago, and I had no idea it was going to work. I didn't have anything that I talk to you about every day here at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Nothing. No, I hadn't studied any of this. I didn't know nothing. So when I started to supplement, it was literally a fingers crossed situation. But now looking back, what I understand is this: when I reverse engineered why it worked, because when you fill in nutritional gaps, number one, we have nutritional gaps that are like trace minerals, etc. And then you use herbs to help your organs and things like that. You can bring down your insulin and your sugars. You can get your liver to function at a higher level. You can help your metabolism and your visceral belly fat. Like, these are really important things. And when you can get these things coming down, you are finally positioned to lose fat. You're finally positioned. Otherwise, you are on a freaking hamster wheel. So this is 3 times a day. This is twice a day, and this is twice a day. And I've just been doing this for a little over 10 years. So this isn't just something I started last week. But you're on Instagram, so you have the benefit of leaving the live if you want to. And right at the top, you'll see a pink highlight bubble, and it will say trio. And under it, I think it says testimonies. You can just start going through the testimonies. Like, don't take my word for it. Listen to other people. These are all testimonies from like the last year. These are not like 10-year-old testimonies. Okay. Sugars coming down, insulin coming down, weight being lost, scripts being dropped. Like, these are things that actual people are, this is what you tell me. These are the conversations that we have with each other. Isn't that amazing? Like, I love it when you guys text me and you tell me your testimonies. It makes me so happy. So anyway, so when you're finally able to lose weight, so this is a really, really good starting point. And if anybody wants the trio cart, you just reach out to me and you tell me you want the trio cart. If you want a better option, this is what if you want the better cart, this is what that would look like. It's a gut primer with a probiotic. I take this every day with the trio. And the reason why is because insulin resistance leads to leaky gut. And when you are leaky gut, you are having a harder time keeping your nutritional deficiencies at bay, but you also have a lot of inflammation going on in your gut. And this is a primer, not a greens product. You have to understand the difference. A greens product is good. I have an organic green product in my line. It's amazing. In fact, my husband mixes the organic greens with this, which looks like a greens product. But this is actually pre and postbiotic and fermented greens and alkaline spices and digestive enzymes and fiber from fruits and vegetable extracts, like constipation, indigestion, having a hard time sleeping, fatigue, like liver health, oral health, metabolic health. Like, this is a comprehensive conversation. So that's why this is good. This is better. Okay. And then the best, if you know that you need to be dealing with your visceral fat, I'm telling you, ask me for the best cart, which has this is the orange pixie stick thermogenic, because it targets the visceral fat. I'm not going to hype it. Try so hard. This has very much narrowed my hips, and I just thought, I'm just going to be honest, like being almost 60 years old, I thought that my hip, because I'm a pear, so I thought that my hips were kind of there to stay a little more permanently. Good morning, Kristen. Good to see you. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. It is. It's such a good Monday. And so having a product like that can actually target the visceral fat around your hips and your waist, I mean, I'm just telling you, it really does 100%. So you just had yours? Yum, she says. I know. I already had mine this morning too. It literally does taste like orange candy. It tastes like it's wrong, like you shouldn't be taking it, but it's okay. So Wendy says she's an apple too. So this is good to hear. It's creepy to hear visceral fat is alive and excreting harmful inflammatory chemicals in your body. I know, Wendy. I know. And it's like, but the more we know and understand, right? Like, I feel like what has happened is our society has gotten to the point where we accept all of this as normal. Like, oh, whatever. I mean, I had somebody text me. This was a couple of years now, maybe about a year and a half ago. And she said, I'm really angry because I went to the doctor and my doctor literally said to me, oh, you have fatty liver. So do I. Who doesn't? And she said, I was horrified that my doctor said that to me. And that's when I realized that, oh, this is what we're doing. We're kind of really taking this stuff lightly because we have such a high concentration of insulin resistance. We have such a high concentration of insulin resistance, type 2, etc. Like we are high fatty liver, high insulin resistance, high belly fat, high, like we are unhealthy at a very high level. And we know this. We really do instinctively know this. But because of that, and we just feel like it's so common, we maybe don't put the weight of gravity on it. Okay. So like when Wendy says that, realizing that the visceral fat is alive and it is excreting harmful inflammatory chemicals in your body. It is so inflammatory. So that's why some of you, instinctively, like you have major inflammation in your body. You can feel it. And you're just like, I've got to get my inflammation down. And I don't know how to get my inflammation down. And when that happens, that's oftentimes when I talk to you about the turmeric. The turmeric is such a great turmeric. It's like turmeric is actually it doesn't get into your system very easily. Most people don't. I didn't know that until I studied that. It just doesn't. But this does. This is actually it's an extract and it's very bioavailable. And taking 400 milligrams of this turmeric is like taking 6,000 milligrams of another source. And that is quite amazing, actually, because I'm taking that. I take that like I used to take IB, just to let you know. Okay. So I can take 2 of those and go to bed, or I can take, if I had arthroscopic knee surgery in my 20s. No, in my teens. In my teens, I had arthroscopic knee surgery where they just went in and they just kind of cleaned out whatever. And to be really honest, I probably didn't need the surgery, but at the time I didn't know how to assess myself very well. So I really like to wear cute boots in the winter because I live in Minnesota. So leave me alone, okay? You got to have something that's cute in Minnesota. And so I really do love wearing some cute boots and whatever. But I do know that whatever, I don't know if it's my lower back isn't in place or whatever. I don't know. Like I do get adjusted every 2 weeks, but that knee might show up as just, like, what'd you wear those boots for? And I'm like, shut up, because they're cute. And so I'll take ibuprofen. No, I won't take ibuprofen. I'll take turmeric instead of ibuprofen because I know that I want to like get that inflammation down, Well, it's the same thing with you. If you just know you have high inflammation in your body because of high insulin, because of high visceral fat, that's like excreting inflammation into your body for whatever reason, and you need help with that inflammation, number one, get down your insulin resistance. You've got to turn it back. Go from insulin resistant to insulin sensitive. Pull it back. Pull it back. Come on. You have to do that first. You've got to get your body back to stop requiring your pancreas to release so much dang insulin all the time to deal with the way that you're eating or to deal with what hasn't been dealt with yet. Like if you've never taken those steps, oh, you are so awesome, Kristen. Who are you answering? Oh, I love you so much. Thank you. She's giving me stuff on TikTok. Somebody asked a question and I missed it. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can see it, Kristen. See, I can't see them all sometimes. Dang it. I'm not seeing it. So hold on just a second. Let me go back. Janet, Kirsten will answer for you. You can text her and she will answer any questions you have. That is 100% true. Her number is in her bio and she's so much great information. So sweet. Kristen, you're amazing. And I actually put my number right there on TikTok. So it's right there. You can text me and ask me stuff, or you can portal over to IG and I will get into my inbox over there. You can message me on TikTok. I just can't send you stuff. It's just the way it is. I can't send you anything clickable, like to actually help you. So she wanted to know how much the trio and the gut primer is. Well, the two together or separately, why don't I send you a cart? Why don't I send you a cart? Because I think that, and then ask me for the better cart. Ask me for the better. So there's good, there's better, and then there's best. And then I'm trying to remember what the two together would be. The trio is less than 100, but I'm trying to think of what the two together are. So send me a thing and I'll send you the better cart. And it'll vary just a teeny tiny, not by much, depending upon the probiotic that you choose, because you can choose a stress relief probiotic, which is a pill. This is for if you have high cortisol, your adrenals need to be loved on a little bit, like you have mental fog, that kind of stress, and you need that kind of a probiotic. This is a pill. Or this one is a powder. This is a stick powder that has 5 strains in it with a prebiotic. And I just do this on my tongue every day. And that is, so there's a tiny slight difference in price, but not by too much. So you can't make a wrong decision. Just choose the one that's best for you. And that's what you're going to choose with the gut primer. So just to let you know, there is not a probiotic inside of the gut primer. There's a pre and a post, because probiotics are very sensitive and you need them to stay alive. And isn't that funny, Kristen? I could not see that question at all. It's so bizarre. I wonder why it does that to me. I mean, I can go all the way back. So if I don't see a question, it's just because I literally don't see it. That happens on Facebook all the time. Okay. Because I can see like a little bit of a twinkle or something, like something happens on Facebook, and then I can tell, oh, I bet there are comments there that I can't see. It just is what it is. Anyway, okay. So yeah, ask me. Good, better, best, if you want that. Good, better, best. Does anybody have any questions about anything that we're talking about today? I'd love to know. Good, better, the trio with the gut primer and a probiotic, and best is when you add on top of it the pixie stick, the thermogenic, to help you with the visceral fat. And again, great testimonies on all of these, you guys. Literally every testimony that I give you, it's from you guys. You are my testimonies. Okay. Like, this is for real. I love it very much because you guys take the time to text me and tell me stuff. And I so appreciate it. So let's wrap this up. Carol, so Carol says she's been doing the stress probiotic because 'tis the season, and I can definitely tell a difference. Interesting. I love that. I am much more calm and have an even mood, but I do miss my little shot of cereal box crumbs. You are hysterical, Carol. So Okay, I'm weird. You just have to know I'm weird. I'm going to do weird things. I'm going to try weird things. I think it actually goes all the way back to when I was in high school. And my bestest girlfriend ever, she lived across the street from me since I was 4 years old. And we lived in a neighborhood that was kind of a little bit on the outside to the people looking in. It would be a little Leave It to Beaver-esque. And what I mean by that is our neighborhood had a name. It was called Sterling Field, and it had a name. And we would have like a parade every year. All of the neighbors would come out and we'd put on this like elaborate parade. Like, I think about this now and I think, how crazy is that we did that? But I had this girlfriend. She's still my best girlfriend all these years later. And she lives in Dallas and I live in Minnesota. So she would come over to my house, and the food in her house was very regulated. Like, she wasn't allowed to really just kind of go in, and like there were certain foods that her dad had set aside for himself, like the almonds or the smoked almonds or whatever. And she knew she wasn't supposed to dip into his stash. My house was a little bit more of a free for all. And so she would come over to my house and she would like open up the cupboards and she'd be like, okay, what do you got? What do you got? Ooh, you've got rice, you've got soup, you've got whatever. And we'd make the souped up rice and we'd do all of these weird concoctions. And she was my concoction girlfriend. And we just did this all the time. Can't imagine why we had weight problems later in life. Okay, I digress. And so I learned how to really love concoctions and allow myself to be really weird with food. I still do it to this day. Like the other day, I posted in my stories, putting brown sugar swerve and cinnamon into the butter of the pan before I put my eggs in there. Because I'm dissecting food, right? You just deconstruct food. If French toast has egg on it, and then on that egg, you want brown sugar, cinnamon, and maple syrup, then why wouldn't I just deconstruct some of those flavors? Okay, whatever. So I had said one day that this probiotic, it's a powder, when you put it on your tongue, it tastes like the bottom of a cereal bag. It tastes like the powder bottom of a cereal bag. And so Carol was like, I thought that too. She agreed with me. It wasn't just me. See, I'm not the only weirdo in the world. I am telling you, maybe but it's so true. I know, weird. I know, but it is true. So basically what she's saying, and this is very actually helpful for anybody who's deciding between the two different probiotics. So she's saying she's been taking the stress one, which is a pill, and she's finding that actually she can feel a difference in how much more calm she has and more of an even mood. So if you're in a stressful season, grab the stress. And even if you've been taking this one, maybe you do this just for the holidays or something. Okay. Because it literally says, in fact, I wonder if I can look it up and see because it's very interesting to me that a probiotic can help you feel more calm. How is that possible? We always only think in terms of probiotics as being helpful for just our gut in general. Like, we need that good bacteria. So how can that possibly be? But there's a very specific ingredient it's an extract of some sort that is actually helping mental fog. And if you feel like you need that, like, take advantage of being able to take a few steps on your own and advocate for yourself in that arena. I'm going to look this up here just to see. Okay, but does anybody have any other questions? Because I want to make sure that I answer questions before I jump off today. The next challenge, the next 5-day free challenge. Let me tell you this. If you need a different track to run on, I'm going to tell you this. What has been working for you no longer works. And you're frustrated and you're stuck. Your weight is stuck. Your mindset is stuck. You are like bored with the foods that you're making, knowing that they're not helping you anyway, and you need a different track to run on. I would love to propose this to you as a track to run on. So Carol says she typically gets very stressed out around Christmas time, and this year is just so different. And I know the probiotic is a part of it. But if I'm honest, God and my mother's memory of her love of Christmas has really filled my heart. Oh, Carol, that is so sweet. Oh, I love that very, very much. Thank you for sharing. I love that. Mother's memory of her love of Christmas. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. So I'm just looking at so it has 2 clinically supported probiotic strains and a unique melon concentrate. It helps you manage occasional stress, supports your mental focus, fights mental fatigue, and promotes a sense, here you go, Carol, of calm and productivity. Even more, this probiotic helps support your gut health and immunity. So you're not making stuff up. It literally does help mental focus, fight mental fatigue, and promotes a sense of calm. Okay. So that's just the difference in the probiotics. All right. So you're not crazy. My mother passed in 2020, but she was the heart of our soul, of our Christmases. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's fantastic. Okay, so for a track to run on, let me give this to you just so that you have an idea. I literally this weekend put together a PDF, a very basic PDF, because I want you guys to understand this is a very basic, streamlined conversation to have about shifting your insulin resistance to insulin sensitivity so that you can move forward in how you feel and in your ability to lose weight. If I told you that this was really hard and laborious and terrible and awful, you would never do it, right? This has to be simple. And I believe 150% that this is actually way easier than I ever thought it was going to be. Well, I know that for myself, but I can tell that to you. This is easier than you think it is. And the reason why I can tell you this is because this does not require a team of docs. Like if you needed an oncology unit, you know what I'm talking about. You do not need a team of docs, and you do not need a suite of meds, experimental or not, to figure out your stage for anything. This is insulin resistance. It's 100% turnaroundable. And because of that, you have major control, like major control. So basically, if I'm going to teach how to turn this around like I did, and then how you can position yourself to lose sizes like I did. I've dropped 3 sizes in my 50s after my cycle stopped, which is usually thought to be not very possible if, without I don't know, really hating your life. I do it while I love my life. Okay. I teach 2 things and 2 things only. I teach targeted supplementation. That's the good, better, best carts that I talk about with the trio, the gut reset protocol, and the thermogenic fat burner. And I teach food ingredient trade outs. Now, food ingredient trade outs, I've done a lot of research with, I'm not one of her coaches, but I really appreciate Maria Emmerich. I appreciate her ingredient trade outs that are very, very creative. And they have helped me in so many ways be able to switch my foods and still be a foodie. But the number one thing that you need to focus on is protein. Because if you can get your protein high, you can help preserve your lean muscle mass. You can stabilize your blood sugar, key component, and you can feel full and satiated. Like you don't want to just feel full. You want to feel full and like that hunger's not gnawing at you. Okay. So that is a main conversation is protein. So this weekend I put together a protein PDF. So how about we start with targeted supplementation? I'll grab you a protein PDF and I'll get that out to you. And then in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, which I posted up here on TikTok, you can jump in there, and our next free challenge, it's a 5-day challenge, is in December on, I believe it's the 6th, Monday the 6th. Somebody can look that up on a calendar and tell me if I'm right. I think it's the 6th. I have a couple of things. I have another device coming so that I can see things better, and then I'll be able to look things up for you. December 2024. And then I'm also my husband's going to help me on TikTok. You can probably see I have a table back here. We're going to create a new, a new positioning of my stuff here so that you guys can, whatever. Don't ask. We've got stuff in the works. We've just got stuff in the works. Do I mean January 6th? No, December Yeah, hold on. Thank you. You are so, thank you. See, I need the stress probiotic because I need mental clarity. I need mental clarity. January 6th. Thank you very much. I need, yes, January 6th. You guys are awesome. We already did the December one. If you're in the group already, FYI, and I'll make sure that the recipe got tagged, but the days of the 5-day challenge are tagged up into the featured section so that you can see them for you, because this is a part of your track to run on. You need to be able to have a track to run on that makes sense for you. What if somebody kind of like walked journey with you? Like, that's why I say good, better, or best options, because you know what? You might not need the best cart. You might not feel like you need all of that. And I don't want you to then do that. Let's customize this for you. Let's customize the targeted supplementation. Let's get you into the group. Let's get you into a chat. Let's get you a PDF that can give you, like, what does 20 grams of protein look like? What does 30 grams look like? What does 50 grams look like? What's a good snack idea? Like, how can I be getting this? This just sounds so overwhelming, like over 100 grams of protein a day. Like, what are you even talking about? And some people don't even know what has a lot of good protein in it and what doesn't. And how do we do it without grain? We're so indoctrinated to believe that whole grain is the answer. Well, when you're insulin resistant, it's not. It perpetuates. It's Monday, January 6th. Thank you. Thank you, Annette. I appreciate you. I appreciate you very, very much. So hold on. Hold on. I want to put that up there for just a second. You would like the PDF, Wendy? Yes. You know you don't get that much protein. Yeah. And it's a big issue, right? It's a very big issue. And I do know that even I just had a friend recently who was saying that she prioritized protein starting last July, and her hair has so responded and her nails have so responded. I do protein, obviously, in all of the food that I eat. To be really honest, this is just me. I don't use protein powders. It's not that I'm against them. I'm just eating real food as much as possible. And I'm focusing on protein. And I have a collagen packet that I put into when I froth up my gut primer in the morning. I put a collagen packet, a peptide, which is the best, most absorbable form. And I put that into so I'm starting my day with protein, because that's what that is. Collagen is coming from animal, right? And then I don't eat anything until kind of I'm hungry, or maybe I usually follow my schedule a little bit. When I'm done with you guys, I'll go eat breakfast, and I'll probably have eggs and like a chicken sausage or something. I'll get like at least 30 grams of protein. And then I'm proteining my way through a day. It's become second nature to me to think this way. Like if I'm on a road trip, or if I'm in a business conference, or I'm going to be going into a meeting that's going to be long, or I'm going to be whatever, my thought is, oh, what can I grab for protein? Do I need some cheese sticks? What do I need to get some protein in me so that I can feel full and satiated all at the same time? And then I don't have that gnawing, but it's also stabilizing any blood sugar and keeping me very balanced for a very long time. Okay. So the Zoom that I talk about on December 18th coming up, that's a week from Wednesday, I believe. Wednesday night, December 18th. And you do have to reach out to me for this one. Okay. Because I won't post a Zoom link because this is invite only, but it's a 1-hour longevity clinic. This guy is an expert in all of these things that I'm talking about. He's an expert. We got to hear him speak for about 45 minutes in June. And we were like, it was really good. It was very enlightening. Everybody wants to live a long time, but really what people are saying when they say they want to live a long time is they want to live a long time with quality of life. So anyway, 7 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, there is a Zoom, and you can get on my VIP list so that I'm collecting a list of people so that you can be on there, and I'll get you the Zoom link when the time is, when it's given to me. If you're local in Minnesota, Gal, I'd love to see you in person and I'll have a little swag bag waiting for you. But that's just a little side note. But again, to talk about protein, this guy is like 58 years old with 12% body fat. He's going to talk to you about protein. Now, he's also probably going to bring up plant protein, etc. I'm grain free, so you don't have to be confused about that. Not everybody is insulin resistant. Not everybody needs a different game plan because of insulin resistance. Beth, I would love to do that, but I can't do it off of TikTok. I have to you have to reach out to me for me to get that to you. I know that's crazy. And I just created it, so I don't know where to post it yet. I haven't thought about this. Darla, add you to the Zoom. Hold on. Let me see if you're on here. I don't think you are. I'm glad you saw that, Darla. I'll write you down. Darla. Okay, I got you down, Darla. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Too much sugar? Yes. And also too, if it's not a whey protein, it's probably grain. And I just don't do grain. I don't do grain, and I don't do, what time will the Zoom be, Sheila? It'll be 7 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, Wednesday, December 18th. And if you need to get on my list, then either text me right here at that number and just say I was on your TikTok live and I want to be on your VIP Zoom list. Or you can jump over to IG. If you leave the live, if you click on my face up here, it'll come up here and you can go to my profile and you'll see a little IG icon. And you can portal over to IG because I can't send you a clickable link here in TikTok. It's just a barrier that we just blast through. We just figure it out. But I can send you a clickable link either on IG or by text. I can do that. You're so excited, Carol. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Yeah. Protein is a huge piece of your puzzle. And so anyway, my point being that there is a track to run on that is super simple, you guys. It's a very simplistic thought process. Start to change the way that your body functions from the inside out. At the very least, the good option is the trio. This is the good option. Just get open up the hood to your car, to your vehicle, and get your body to function at a different level. Okay? And then let's learn the ingredient trade-outs. So I will teach when that challenge hits on January 6th, you guys, you've already had your New Year's resolutions. You've already seen wherever your resolve was. Why not just start now? Why not just get a running start into January? Do not put all of that pressure on you to take January 1st and say that that's the be all end all, or the second or whatever. That's the be all end all of your journey. And if you screw it up, there goes the whole year. No, don't do that to yourself. That's not being nice to yourself. Instead, allow yourself an actual journey. You know what? I'm going to start and I'm going to get a running start into January. I'm going to get my body functioning. It won't be recorded, Sheila. It's for our business team. I know that's such a good question. I usually say that. I usually remember to say that. It's for our business team. And so it's not going to be in a Facebook group anywhere or anything. And I'm not giving it. This is from an expert. I know, but it's such a good question. Thank you for asking it because I know other people are thinking that too. And I wish it was because oftentimes things are, I won't be able to, okay. So yes, I can add you to the Zoom, but you have to reach out to me here on Instagram. And the reason why is because after the live is done, your comment will go away. Your comment will go away. So just get into my inbox. And I know that I'm a little behind on my DMs. I'll catch up today. Lots of people chatting. It's good. It's really, really good. So, but don't put so much pressure on yourself. For real. January 1st is not the be all end all. To be really honest, my new year already started. It started September 1st because that's my fiscal year for my business. So January 1st, 2025 is not the same anymore to me. And I'm really glad about that because I feel like there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of false security in making New Year's resolutions. But I want you to think much further than that. I want you to think, where do I want to be in June? And then where do I want to be next December? Where do I want to be in June 2025? And where do I want to be next December 2025? Those are two really good marking points for the year. Okay? Because the truth is that you want actual results. You want progression. And especially when you're talking about things that are super important, like sugars and insulin, scripts that you're on, you know that you have high inflammation, you know that you're in apple shape. It's very concerning to you. You know you've got a lot of visceral fat. Maybe you've already been diagnosed with fatty liver, PCOS, type 2. You've had gout. You've got issues. I have a lot of you that message me, and you've definitely got things going on. So you know what? Let's just do the healing journey. Let's make 2025 is the first marking of a quarter of a century. Let's make this a really good, profitable year for you so that you can move forward. Okay. There you go. All right. I think I'm good. I am going to jump on a meeting that I have going. And if you need anything, let me know. Good, better, best cart. Okay. Trio, insulin sensitivity, better. Add in the gut primer and the probiotic. And the best is when you then add in the thermogenic. And listen, you can ask for the best cart just so you can see it all explained. I'm just doing a little 3-minute video for you guys. It's what you're seeing. And you'll see it all in one cart. Doesn't mean you have to choose it all, but maybe you just want to see what the best looks like. Okay. And then you can take it from there. But I would love to help you navigate your journey. All right. And then I'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And I think that's it for today. So have a blessed day, Terry. Good to see you. Bye, Darla. All right. I think I'm good. Oh, Darla, you're amazing. She says, thank you for your love, support, and encouragement. A gift you are. What a gift you are. Thank you, Darla. You're very, very sweet. You're very sweet. All right, you guys. Have a great, great day.